Okay, so we'll start now the first Mamer in Shemini Atzeres. It's interesting that one Mamer in the Sukkos is also starts by Yom Shemini Atzeres, but over here there's a whole section which is for Shemini Atzeres, and we have again by Yom Shemini Atzeres. Not sure why it was set up this way. But this is the first Mamer in the section, which is called. See, the other section is called Sukkos and Shemini Atzeres, and there's a Mamer for Shemini Atzeres. This is just for Shemini Atzeres itself. So there's like several Maimorim for Shemini Atzeres, and after this comes V'zei Sabracha, and that's been finished. I mean, these are the two sections that we have left: the section of Shemini Atzeres and the section of V'zei Sabracha, until we finish the. Then we have Shira Shirim, which is its own section separately, not part of it. That's the second Shira Shirim. Okay, so we'll start now with Boyim Shemini Atzeres Tiyilachem in the first Mamer in the section of Shemini Atzeres. Yom HaShemini Atzeres Tiyilachem. And so this is written about Sukkos, that on the 8th day there should be Atzeres for you. Behold, it's written, his left hand is underneath my head, and his right hand hugs me. So this is a pasuk in Shira Shirim, in which it's understood that the left hand, that's the Yom Hadin, that represents mostly Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That is the level of Smoil, Tachas L'Roishi. And the Yeminoi, the right hand that hugs me, that is mostly connected to Sukkos. Sukkos is the time of Yeminoi Techabkeni. So Lahavin, but the Rebbe asks here, Mahu Tachas L'Roishi. So what is the meaning under my head? Okay, Smoila is associated with Rosh Hashanah. It's the level of Gvuris, the level of Yom Hadin. But why Tachas l'Rosh? In a Omer Razal, our sages tell us, it's in Pirkei Avos, it says that Yofe Shoachas b'tshuva ma'asim tovim ba'olam hazeh mikol chayei ha'olam haba. That 1 hour of teshuva and good deeds in this world is more beautiful, it's better than the entire life of the world to come. That means that in Olam Hazeh, we have an ability to accomplish so much more through the teshuva ma'asim tovim, so that it is more valued than all of the Olam Haba. This has been already explained many times elsewhere. But now we will understand it by introducing a saying of our sages of blessed memory. This is also in the Gemara. The Gemara in Kiddushin says that Godel Talmud Shemeveli de Maisa, that learning is great or greater, because the question is, what is greater? Is studying greater or action greater? And the Gemara says that studying is greater because it brings you to action. Seems a paradox. If the whole reason for the greatnesses of Torah is because it brings you to action, it brings you to Maisa, so how could we say that the learning is greater? The purpose of learning is for the Maisa. So it seems like the Maisa is greater. Lakushim Mefursam, as the known question is, Ma'achar sheikar ma'ashe talmid basik osid lechadir. Ma'achar sheikar ma'ashe talmid godel. What the reason why the study is great is Machma Shemeveli de Maisa, because it brings you to action. Imkein adrabe. So then, on the contrary, for this reason alone, that you're saying that it brings the Maisa, Harei Maisa Godel. Turns out that Maisa is great. Tzorich lahovin mahus inyan ha'maisa. we have to understand the essence. What is the idea of Maisa of action? Maisa, we say, when we do the Maisa HaMitzvahs, mitzvahs that we do in action. So we say that the 248 mitzvahs I say, we have, of the 613 mitzvahs, you have 248 positive mitzvahs, and you have 365 prohibitions. These 248 mitzvahs, kiramach pikudim, the 248 mitzvahs, inun ramach evorim de malko. Those are the 248 limbs of the king. Just like by a person, we have 248 limbs, so to speak, by the Eibishter, by Hashem, these mitzvahs are his limbs. There are 248 mitzvahs, and those are the limbs of Hashem. But what does it mean by Hashem limbs? By a person, a limb, an aver is a physical, because a person is physical, and the aver is a physical to the person. But by Hashem, who is spiritual, what does it mean that it is an aver over there? What is the idea? What is the language when we talk about limbs? But Hashem has no image of a barikulu. Uksiv, and further it's written, not my thoughts are your thoughts, not my ways are your. Meaning, this whole idea of trying to compare the limbs to Hashem is like on a totally different level. So my thoughts are much higher than your thoughts. So how are we saying over here that these are the 248 limbs of the king? What does that mean? But the idea is the pasuk says, "Titein emes liYaakov," give truth, give the level of emes to Yaakov, and it says chesed laAvraham, give chesed, kindness to Avraham, asher nishbat laviseinu mimei kedem, that you have sworn to our fathers from day of the old, which is a pasuk in Micha that we say in the morning davening as well. Titin emes liYaakov, chesed laAvraham. It's going to explain now this pasuk. Lovin mahu emes shanovi mishabeach shenitin liYaakov midas emes. What is it we're saying? Titin emes. So what is this emes? The Navi is praising that this midas emes has been given to Yaakov. Titin emes into Yaakov. So what is this emes that we're talking about that we're giving to Yaakov? Emes. The tzedakah is word of truth. The general idea over here is that there is the world the way it appears to us, and the world the way it appears to us, we feel ourselves as entities. We feel our mitzias, we're a yesh, and the spiritual and more higher, removed from physicality, to us that's considered ayin. So we have a perception that we feel. But of course, that is not the real. The truth is just the opposite, that whatever is lower is really more nothing, and whatever is higher is the true yesh. So we have this idea, titin emes liYaakov, to give them the truth, to give them the understanding that they should appreciate the higher level of yesh v'ayin as it is above, that the true yesh is above. That's the idea of the emes that we're going to give to Yaakov. So it says, Hine kisiv, because the pasuk here, behold, it says in the pasuk, Kikel deyes havaya. It's pasuk in Iyov. It says over there that Hashem has deyos. There's two views, two days. Pirush, Shekoilul Beis he includes, there's two ways of understanding Hashem. So when you go from below to above, in other words, from us to Hashem, if we go by what it appears by the eyes of the humans, by our eyes, so over there, to us it appears, the yesh v'dover. The physical world appears to be an entity, something, and the spirituality, which is above, is in the level of ayin. It's not perceived, it's above, it's beyond. But the real existence is us over here. And the higher you go, it's more u'b'chinas ayin yeser, is more nothing, because it's not understood even more. It's even more not understood. So something which is not so high is a little bit not understood. But when you go higher and higher, it's even more not understood. And therefore, that makes it a bigger ayin. The greater it is, the further away it is, it makes it into a bigger ayin. The kol zeh, like the pasuk says, that the chokhmah comes from ayin, which means the above is the level of ayin. And in Atzilus, we talk about the level of chokhmah is already, the entity comes from the level of ayin. However, this is all how in our estimation, in our judgment, according to our value, we as below, that's the way we see it. But relative to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which everything is considered like nothing, it's just the opposite. From the top to the bottom, he is ayin. And the more it descends below, it's more in the level of ayin, and it's considered like nothing. The lower it gets, the more nothing it is. The higher it is, it's a more entity, and the lower it gets, it's the more nothing. This is why our sages instituted that in the beginning of the verses of song and the davening, we say, Hoidu LaHashem Chulu. Thank and admit to Hashem. The idea of we sort of agree, even though to us it seems otherwise, that we see ourselves as the yesh, but still, Hoidu LaHashem, we praise Hashem. Also in the end of the Amida, what do we say? We say, Moidim anachnu loch. Moidim anachnu loch, we say at the end of the Amida, meaning that we admit to you. When you say, I admit to you, is k'moy l'moshul, say for example, a person who will agree to his friend. What does that mean? That you are, okay, you know what? I agree with you. What does that mean when you say I agree with you? That means, in the beginning, he disagreed with him. He had a disagreement with him. And he had a different idea. Then he agrees, you know what? My friend, he was right. So that means moide, that you're admitting to him. What does it mean we're moide to Hashem? Through the person reflecting. that the truth of the matter is that everything before Hashem is considered like nothing. And the fact that the world does appear to be an entity and an item, it seems to be Mitzias, the world. That's only in our value, in our estimation, that we are dressed in a physical body. And we see with eyes of physical flesh. And therefore, but the truth is opposite what it sees. So you come around and you admit, and you're moida, and you say azai, then yoidal emes, then you will admit to the truth. Okay, so we're going to say that's the emes that we're giving LeYaakov. That's Zeush and Hemar B'Halel. In B'Halel we say the emes Hashem le'olam. We want to bring down the truth of Hashem, that idea, the way it's milmailo, lamato, that lamailo is the yesh. We want to bring this down into the olam, into the obscurity, the helem of the world. Olam hu meloshen helem itzimtzum. Olam comes from the language of obscurity and restriction. So what do we want? We want sheyanira, that it should be seen, that we should be seen for the eyes of flesh, that's the world. And all the time that we do say Hallel, so we have the Olam, but we're saying Hallel, Uzman is Galus Emes Havayish Maila Lamata. That's the time that the truth of Hashem is revealed, Hashem as it is from above to below. Shahu Liyas Mashalamata Nikra Ayin. The truth is that whatever is below, we're agreeing to it. That emes is coming down into the world. When we say Hallel, that it should be that Mashalamata Nikra Ayin, that it should be what's below is actually nothing, is Ayin. Ulamailo Nikra Bechinas Yesh, and above is level of Yesh. Okamesha Kasuf. Pasuk says Lahanchil Oyava Yesh, which means the Eibishter gives us to understand the real Yesh, that the Yesh, that Lamailo is the Yesh. That is what he is manchil, that is what he inherits to those who love him. Says in the parentheses, Ki hadei beis deis anal. These two views, Hem bechinas yichud Eloah, yichud dato. Bechinas yichud Eloah means shu shem havaya. So first is level of yichud Eloah. That's the name havaya. And then you have yichud dato. That is shem bechinas Shem Elikim Ba'adnus, that comes from the level of Elikim Ba'adnus, Hamid Samtzem Mafrid Lahabis B'chinas Yesh, that restricts and separates to create an entity. So what do we do by Hallel when we say Ve'emes Hashem Lo'ilom? So what do we? Hallel is to draw down and to illuminate in the Sfiras HaMalchus in Adnos, Shem Adnos. So that's why that means Emes Havaya Le'olam, to bring it down that level in Malchus. Kosuv Ramaz Parshas Emer Tchilas Dav Tzadik Vov. Va'orezu Hainu Hamshocha V'Gilu Shem Havaya Chinas Yichud Eloah. This, however, means that we're bringing down and we're revelation the Shem Havaya in the level of Yichud Eloah. Meshekosum Mizeh Sev Divra Maschil V'Chofei B'Kislev. Gamhu, in addition, it's also Kinyan Ba'ato Yigdal No Koyach Adnai which is a strengthening of the power of Adnai by revealing the higher level in Malchus. B'ayin Priyetz Chaim, Shar Reish Reish Chochma Perik Beis. L'chein, and that's why that's why through this ha'orah, it brings down the V'amas Hashem Lo'olam, what we say in the Halach. Okay, but basically, we have these two views, and we have the view the way it's from above, that it's ayin, and we have our view that we're yesh, and we say hoidu, that we're agreeing. Hoidu Hashem. We say hoidu Hashem. What does it mean hoidu Hashem? We're admitting Elav Yisbarach. We're agreeing to Him blessed. Not like it seems to our eyes of flesh, but the way the truth is, Hoidu Hashem, that the Eibishter is the real Yesh, and we're the Ayin. So Titin Emes Liyakiv. This is what we say. Give Emes Liyakiv what he started off. What was this Emes that we were looking for? Yaakov Bechinas Yud Ekev. Yaakov is made up the word of Yud and Ekev, the heel. Yaakov Bechinas Yud Ekev, the Hainu, that represents Yud Bechinas Simtzum. Sheyorad v'nispashet be'ekev b'seif ha'madreges. The Yud means that's the level of restriction that descended to expand in the heel, and the end of the steps in his gashma, that they have become physicalized, and yet the Afal Pikein Hakadosh Baruch Hu Noisein Emes. That means Titan Emes. Him gives the Emes. She's Gala Shom, that over there should be revealed. Gam Shom Emes Havaya, that also the level of Havaya should be revealed over there. So that's that what comes out. That's Yaakov. That's Titan Emes Yaakov. I Mashakosu me and Titan Emes Yaakov b'biur aposik Eila Mase. Gabi Vayichte Moshe. Okay, so that's the beginning of the pasuk is Titan Emes Yaakov, but then we have also Chesed Lavrom. Then Nimshach Li is Chesed Lavrom. Titan Emes Yaakov. The pasuk says then it says Chesed Lavrom. Pirush Chesed Hu Hamshachas HaMitzvos. Chesed in general, Titan Chesed, means to draw down the level of mitzvahs. Mitzvahs generally are called Chesed because the klolos mitzvahs, if you want to talk the general mitzvah, is tzedakah. Tzedakah v'chesed. Tzedakah v'chesed is mitzvahs are considered to be chesed. So is Titan Chesed LaAbraham v'nimshach v'nislabish b'chinas emes havaye b'maisa mitzvahs. This emes Hashem, that revelation that we're talking about of Milmaila Lamata, the Yesh, Milmaila should be felt Lamata, is dressed up in mitzvahs. So when we do a mitzvah, the mitzvah should have the power and the strength. So you doing a mitzvah, this should arouse through our arousal below, which is the doing of the mitzvah. We should be able to arouse above Tolu Yisuris Leila. Where do we get the we want that when we do a mitzvah, that when we're gonna do the act over here in Gashmi, this should arouse the Yisuris Leila, so that the Yisuris Leila should come to that. Shal Maisa Hatzdaka v'Chesed Tachten is Eir Koyach Chesed Elyon. That through the act of Tzedakah and Tachten of the lower one, this should arouse a power of supreme Chesed. Similar to all the mitzvahs. Is this the Chesed Lavram is where that level Hamshocha comes down, so that when we do Isarusa Dilutato to get down the higher levels. Ki emes. So he's saying we're talking about of the chilik, the two levels of Chesed Lavram and emes liYaakov and Chesed Lavram. So he says that the emes is Torah and Chesed is mitzvahs. The emes gives the koyach and the Chesed. Ki emes hainu Torah. Zohu ki ba'er panecha nasata lanu Torah's Chaim. In the light of your face, you've given us the living Torah. So this expression of the light of your face is emes. Asher b'chinas ha'oras ponim zehu emes. Shine the face is truth. Meshikosu be'idra rabba daf lam gimel lamed beis. So you have the Torah. B'ha-Torah titan emes liYaakov. B'ha-Torah haneisen koyach liyos b'yisarusa delatato shal yidei ha-mitzvahs yisarus leilo. And the Torah gives into the Chesed Lavram that in the mitzvahs, that when you do a mitzvah, there should be Yisrus Leilo, Commercial Borlakam. In Cain, B'chinas Titin Emes liYaakov, from the level of Emes liYaakov, Nimshach B'chinas Chesed Lavram, that gets the level of Chesed Lavram because it comes through the Hamshoch of Emes of Torah. That's the way we get the power in the mitzvahs in the Zoh Inyan Chesed Shel Emes. There's an expression you say both a Chesed Shel Emes, a kindness of Emes, which is when the Emes brings about the level of Chesed, as we were talking. Chesed Dikshoit, a true Chesed. Ein Shom B'idre Rab. So this is also what it says. Kolorchus Havai Chesed Emes. Ein schon da kurz mit alle, ein mal schos dir maschel was khanon gabei ato achilais. Und in dem Brief mit zu sein schon. Okay. This is the two in your base. So that's Titan Emes liYaakov and Chesed Lavram. Base achlahovi, to understand. Ayin hakoyach hazeh. Where do we have this power? Liyis isarusa de le'ela tolu basarusa letato. This part that the arousal of above should hinge is rusa letato in the arousal below. So when we do a mitzvah, we're going to get Hashem's attention and we're going to bring down from above the all the levels. But who gives the power in the Isarusa Dilatato that the above will come down through the arousal below? How is there a relationship? A created being who comes into from Ein Liyesh, that he can arouse the supreme chesed of the Creator. Let his name be blessed. But there is no relationship and there is no thought that can really grasp Hashem at all. So how does this happen? So we're saying Titin Emes liYaakov Chesed Lavram, the level of Emes comes down the level of mitzvahs through Lutato. So that's why the pasuk explains further, Asher nishbaita laviseinu, that you have sworn to the Father. What is laviseinu? Pirush laviseinu ava tivis. That is the natural love. Hamisuteres believe kol echad me'echad mi Yisrael, v'koyach, that is hidden in the heart of each and every Yid, potentially, and not only potentially, v'gam be'poel mamesh b'mesiras nefesh al kiddush Hashem, that the person self-sacrifice to sanctify the Eibishter's name. So we have this natural love in ourselves to be able to do this. That is nishbaitu laviseinu, that you sworn to our fathers, we have that fathers given to us that level that we are ready to give ourselves up, potentially and actually practical for Kiddush. So we call this Aviseinu. Nikra b'shem Av. We call this by the name of Av. Shemimenu Hatulda. What kind of a father is this? Because it's a father. Shemimenu Hatulda. Lasis mitzvahs ma'asim tovim. From it comes the derivative to do mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim. Kol ha-mitzvahs heim b'shvil l'dovka b'yizbarach. Because all the mitzvahs are in order that we cleave to Hashem, to Him blessed. So v'gam ahavazu. So also this love, this love that brings about that we should do the mitzvahs to connect to Hashem is an inheritance of our fathers. This love extends to us the power and the strength so that we should have the arousal of above hinged on our mitzvah, on our doing. That level of love that the Eibishter instilled in us, the level, why is the level? The level of, that's a level of love. The reason is level of love because that's the source in which the mitzvahs come from. So that is something which we get the ability, so through that level to be Ma'eris Rusa de Le'ela through Asrus Latato. And then by Dezen Nitan HaKoyach, that's how we have the power. Lahamshich Alidei Maisa HaMitzvahs Shal Yidei Mitzvahs Maisis, that we should be able to draw down through the act of mitzvahs Kimoi tzitzis shall tzamer tachten as lamoshel. If we have the tzitzis of the wool below, tzitzis el yonim, that arouses the tzitzis of the supreme. V'chein al yidei tefillin tachtonim oirer tefillin el yonim. Masha'enkin echad me'evte gilulim. So when we do a mitzvah, we are bringing down things from above. But if a non-Jew would do tzitzis, for example, even if he dresses up tzitzis and he puts on tefillin, he's not going to extend or bring anything down. So that is because a yid has that level of love and that power naturally that the Eibishter has given us, the koyach, that when we do a mitzvah, we have the ability to bring down and mamshich from above. Because every yid has naturally that love to Hashem, and that's why he has the ability to bring it down. Now, this love is not only by people who are high madregas, even people who do averis. Even people who are guilty of krisis, getting caught up, in which the pasuk says by them, that soul be cut off from me. So it almost seems that if he's cut off from Hashem, how does he have that ava hativis to bring down this level in the mitzvahs? It's cut from the root because he's chayv kodesh. And this love is not revealed in the soul. Let's over here. Let me 1 second. Okay, the family is getting up over here, and there's a lot of noise over here. David, hello, can you hear me? All right, so
yes, I hear you.
I'm gonna stop. Let's stop over here because there's just a lot of noise here now with the kids getting up.
Okay, it's up to you, Rabbi.
Okay, and Mitzvah, I'm gonna come back today, Mitzvah Shem. So we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay.
Call to. Bye bye.
Also, bye-bye.